Hey everyone, and welcome back to Lucid 9, and boy am I hyper today. I have no clue why. I think I don't know, it's a lot of things been going on in my head, and I'm just very excited for things to come. Like, there's some things you know about, there's one thing I'm keeping as a super secret, I'm not even telling some of my friends. But let's just say, like I always say, the phoenix rises from the ashes. This channel may be finished. I did say I was starting a second one now, didn't I? In the last episode, Yama went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and now we're in the POV of Rui, which scares the hell out of me. Because it makes me wonder, is Yama really the killer? Because the way he was talking, he was going on about blood and art and death. That's how the killer talks. It could be just a red herring. Like, I think everything is in this game. Frankly, I think Mr. Ryuta is linked to the killer somehow. I think he might be the mastermind behind it. But I could be wrong. Well, let's just jump right back into it. Rui remembering the fight. Is that why you were with me? Sticking around someone you know you're better than at everything probably made you feel really good about yourself. It's not true. It can't be. I wouldn't have done something like that, right? Didn't some philosopher once come up with a theory that every act someone did was only done to help themselves? That there's no such thing as a real good deed? Helping elderly people is just to make yourself feel better. Giving to the homeless is just to get attention. Loving family is just to repay them for raising you. That, in the end, everything is selfish, and selfless love doesn't exist. No, that can't be possible. He must have just been in a real moper. Rui. Huh? Oh, sorry, I just remembered that I left my laundry in the washing machine. The lie passes smoothly from my lips. What's even scarier is that I don't feel a hint of guilt. Oh, I see. That happens to me all the time. I know, right? I should really set an alarm. Well, guess we'll get going. See ya. Have a good time. The moment she exits, I have to remember I have to be in Rui's voice permanently now since I'm no longer Yama. The moment she exits the room I instantly drop my smile. Great, now I'm a fake, just like the rest of them. You're looking a bit under the weather. What's up? Akira! Akira suddenly leaps from beneath my desk. I smile in relief. I think it's real this time. Hey Akira, should I ask you why you're hiding under the desk? Well, I'd tell you, but then I'd have to kill you. So, drama club? I don't think so, not today. She stares at me, not in a judging way, but definitely searching for answers. Remember what you promised? Yeah, he's not even at school. Ooh. That's exactly why you should come. We're doing a confidence exercise. That way, after the club, you can go right to his apartment. What, today? Well, no time like the present. Oops, I hit the mic with my face. I apologize. I hope it wasn't too loud. Probably was. I can't do that. Not in our current situation. The situation won't change unless you make it, Rui. It's universal fact. The law of inertia? Precisely. An object in motion stays in motion with the same speed and in the same direction unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. Close enough. Currently, the object that is yours and Yama's relationship is headed straight into a black hole, where it will be crushed into tiny bits. Or create a time-space paradox that unravels the very fabric of the universe. I point dramatically to the sky. She grins in satisfaction. Exactly. So you should try, as soon as possible. I lower my hand. I'll try. I say this mainly to appease her. Honestly, I don't want a thing to do with Yama. Not anymore. Even thinking about him hurts. Hurts to the point where I feel like I can barely breathe. Rui, it'll be okay. You'll look back on this one day and think, ha, well, I was as silly as a goose in a soap opera. My throat feels sore. I want to believe her, honest. Thanks, Agent Angle. It's nothing, Agent Goose, both Silly Goose and Mother Goose. She squeezes my shoulder comfortingly. I'm going to drama, okay? Come when you can. Everyone misses you. Okay, have a great time. As always. She squeezes my shoulder again and disappears into the hallway. I should feel terrible for lying, but I can't bring myself to feel anything at all. I take out my bags and exit the school. It feels more like something out of habit than my own conscious choice. I actually come to my senses until I reach the school's entrance. Why am I here? There's no reason for me to leave. I live on campus. I don't have any activities. I'm not going to eat anywhere. Oh, right, the idiots I used to hang out with here, usually before a trip to GFC. But there isn't anyone now. Whoa, that made me jump. I turn back to the school, but a sudden movement catches the corner of my eye. What's that? That was probably Yama. I head around the corner, but there's nothing except a trash bin. Weird. I must be tired. I think about heading back to the dorm to rest, but Kira's suggestion makes me hesitant. Now that she supplied the idea of visiting Yama today, I can't get it out of my head. It's a terrible idea. He hates me. He doesn't want to see me. He's tired of me, right? But who's reminding that idiot to pay his utility bills on time? Who's dragging his sorry butt through the school? Who's keeping him from collapsing out of exhaustion? Kira, why? Fine, I'll go, just for a few seconds. Pop in, make sure that some nuclear disaster didn't happen. Pop out easy, right? I should stop asking rhetorical questions. They tend to give me the answers I don't want. I turn around, peering down the road. Just normal people, normal cars, normal houses, nothing out of the ordinary. What is that? It keeps making me... I must be really tired. Okay, what's going on? I try to walk closer to the stream, blend into the crowd, but I swear there's this constant shadow in the edge of my sight. No matter what way I turn, I can't seem to see it. There it's again. I start to pick up pace, weaving into populated streets. They're still there. Whatever's going on, I need to get out of here. Maybe I'm just being stupid, but I swear the shadow's actually following me. I jog back to the school, only stopping for a breath, when everything seems safe. No sign of the person, whoever they are. Good. He was a mini now. What are we doing, with a little person? What was that? It looked like they were behind the school, but that's not possible, is it? The only entrance is the gate. How did they get in without me seeing? The figure starts running straight at me. I don't even have time to think. I immediately sprint away, heading back to the main street. This is getting creepy as fuck. If anything can protect me, this crowd can. Oh, God. I'm going to have dreams of shadow people now. I grind to a halt somewhere in the mass of people gathered at the crosswalk. When I glance behind me, I still see the figure hanging around the edge of the buildings. I can't even get into a distinct outline, but I swear that I see two glinting eyes in the shadows. And they seem to be looking right at me. I shudder, pressing myself as close to the crowd as possible. Thankfully, when the stoplight turns green, the figure doesn't follow. But it's a little strange. Why does that person seem so familiar? It's Yama. I come to the start with my head pounding terribly. Come to a start? What? Oh, this must be what it's like to have a hangover. My eyes absently scan the surroundings out of habit. City, nighttime, sitting on a bench, cool breeze and clear sky and weather that I would have enjoyed in different circumstances. Oh, that's right, I lapsed. Oh, wait, whoa. We're back in Yama's head now? I draw out my phone almost lazily, my brain still fuzzy as I check the time. 10 p.m. I must have been out of it for how many hours? 14? The entire day gone, no record of where I went or what I've been doing. I check my bank records on my phone, nothing new. Photos, notes, calendar, nothing. Pockets, doesn't seem like anything stolen, at least nothing super important. No messages, no calls, whether incoming or outgoing, unless they've been deleted. Is that it? Ah, wait, something in my jacket pocket. I pull out a slim phone that's cool and smooth against my palm. Alright, the troublesome phone of Harubanya. Okay, we're back in Yama's head. Okay, so Yama's alter ego was following Rui from what I'm guessing. Or at least that's what we're being led to believe. Oh, I see a kitty! Oh my god, a kitty! I never noticed that before. I wonder if it's Chocolat, the cat, me, and, I'm not Yama. Harubanya, who was brutally murdered. Harubanya, who had the latest phone model. Harubanya, who after being murdered somehow had his latest phone model make its way into my apartment. If this doesn't raise more than a few questions, nothing will. I don't seem to care. Why didn't I seem to care? Why don't I seem to care? I guess it's nothing like I'm going to get any answers by just standing around here. I should head back to my apartment, take another look, see if I missed anything, now that I'm actually thinking clearly. Almost a little too clearly, actually. But what's this? As I draw near to my apartment complex, I notice a line of police cars surrounding the entrance gates, lights flaring and sirens blaring. Oh, Shigure. In the center of the light stands none other than Shigeru Yamamoto, deep in the conference with the police officer I recognize from the little trip into the forest. As per usual, Shigeru is practically screaming her lungs out with every word. Are you not cognizant of the impetuous impetus by which I've come? Officer Kobayashi, the Bureau has contended that this student must be incarcerated under the suspicions of the recent homicides. So I'm aware. I've harbored my own suspicions. They think I'm the killer. And you contend with that such an intellectual impaired such as for a humanoid sloth could possess the sophisticated genius necessary to orchestrate the mass murder of his Okay, they're talking about the student. I was so confused. Wait, is she talking about me? They're talking about me. If the police are here, if the police are talking about me, they're waiting to arrest me. You know him more than I do. What is your opinion on the matter? He was my errand boy. You claim to be good at reading people. Are you saying that you misread the suspect? A muscle in Shigeru's jaw twitches. She stuffs her hands in her pockets and mutters something that I can barely catch. I am not wrong. Then you agree that Yamamoto is the prime suspect. What? Would she, Shigeru, the legitimate detective, does she believe that I'm the killer? She wouldn't, right? The emptiness in my chest promptly dissipates, replaced by a pounding fear. Even if Shigeru believes it, doesn't that mean that it's true? I agree. She agrees. I agree. The universe agrees. I try to step back into the shadows, my feet fumble and clutch desperately at this wall, staring blankly before me. I'm glad we're on the same page now. We'll submit a request to Lemonsgate to track his phone. The time such actions would take is too substantial. Barring the convict conveniently shares his location with us, the process can take up to 48 hours. Then we better get started. He motions to several officers staying by. They gather around him in a loose circle. Shit. Wordlessly, I turn on my heels and sprint away. Where to? I can't even say. My shoes seem to move automatically even as my mind stands still. Corner here, turn there, stop here. Yeah, that's right. I'm not just an ordinary high school student who woke up from an overlong nap. I'm a murder suspect, guilty conscience, someone who holds a phone of a murder victim in his hands after the victim's death. Shigeru, she's not the type to lie to protect someone. I should have expected that answer from her. Then, if I accept it, shouldn't I be turning myself in? I grind to a halt at the subway platform, sliding into the nearest bench. Alone in a crowd, isn't that the expression? Hanging around in public is probably the worst place for me to be. As soon as they get a hold of my picture, my face will be broadcasted across the nation. Who knows? Maybe it's already posted on Twitter. Maybe Masaki or Yako have already stumbled across it and, like Shigeru, just like Shigeru, turning one by one. Not a friend, not an errand boy, not an academy student, a murder convict. Why wouldn't they leave? Why wouldn't they all just go? Because you're not guilty. The voice is almost deafening in my head, resounding every corner of my brain. I almost started to start at the sound. But what I want doesn't matter. The evidence says otherwise. Killings happening at night, the culprit, someone who knows the security procedures of the academy well. Someone who can fake sanity too well. What if, when I'm sleeping, my personality changes and I get up, sneak across town? You know that's not true. Alright, that's enough. I close my eyes. Ooh, I love that color. I close my eyes and quiet my thoughts, waiting for an image to materialize. Sure enough, a familiar figure steps into the scene. What are you doing here? I'm here to bail you out, kid. You know, last time I checked, you're supposed to be keeping me sane, not, putting voices in my head. I can only keep you sane if there is any sanity to keep, kid. Touché. You know, what you're feeling right now, that dissociation, you're subconsciously alienating yourself from your own emotions due to anticipating future trauma. You know what dissociation is? I like it. I know what dissociation is. I like it. You what? It's a painkiller. What isn't there to like? Snap out of it, kid. You can only get to the bottom of this if you dedicate yourself to it 100%. You can't be afraid to feel. I hope you know how cheesy you sound right now. Will it make you feel? Feel what? Exasperation? You can't give up, kid. Not now. Why not? What's there to discover? That I'm a murderer? A fugitive from justice? Look, do you honestly believe that you're the murderer? Yes. Well, clearly you actually don't, or you wouldn't have dragged me here. You got my time for now, kid. Make it worth it. I start a little at the accuracy of this Ryuda. I stare a little at the accuracy. I start a little. I think that might be a typo. I must have spent too much time with him. So, the null hypothesis is that I'm a serial killer, and the working hypothesis is that I'm not. Good start. Good start. What does it mean? It means that I just need to find evidence that I'm not the killer. But you won't settle for that, will you? You want to find out who really behind all this. I might not even know him. You're kidding, right? There's this huge piece of evidence hanging right in front of you that... you know what? It's more fun if you figure it out. Don't just tease me like that if there's something big that I'm not even noticing. Why? I find myself becoming intrigued. How much do I know that I think I don't? Enough to solve what the police, with all their resources and brain power and authority, still can't? The police are limited to a little something called bureaucracy, you know. Besides, remember your advantage. My advantage over the police. You have a core piece of evidence that they don't know nothing about. What might that be? I want to save here real quick. Just in case we don't get to get back to everything. The psychological profiles. You gave me the information on the student's psychological problems. Wouldn't they know that in so much depth? Would they know that in so much depth? Why wouldn't they? You think they would have interrogated me for those profiles? Well, if you put it that way. Get good, kid. The phone. I have Haru's phone right here with me because it was in my apartment. Bingo. The police don't have this phone in their physical possession, not like you. They don't have the same hints. Now, to be fair, they were buzzing around your apartment like vultures around a cadaver. So something definitely attracted their suspicion. But it's not like anyone else was at Haru's murder besides you and the killer. At least, no one who witnessed it firsthand. Not only that, but the police didn't come to my apartment until just today. I found this phone just tucked away in my apartment and had it gotten there somehow. So whoever put the phone in my apartment knows the code, since there's no sign of break-in. There's only a handful of people who know this code. Rui does. Rui's not the killer. I'm coming out and saying Rui's not the killer. That bitch Natsuki knows the code, though. And so does Shiguri, because... And? Well, you're basically saying that the killer is somehow close to me because they can access my apartment. Yes, and? You don't think that it could be... Oh, I don't know, me? Oh, really? Then how did you lure the victim out even though you weren't close to them? Or why didn't you remember taking the phone from Haru, or removing its battery, or putting it in your drawer? Someone's trying to frame us! Balance of probability remains that you would have remembered at least one of those events. Even so, we are not seriously entertaining this Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde play, kid. You know your own medical reports. The lapses are a problem with your memory, not your behavior. It could have changed since then. Do you even know how sad it is that you're losing an argument with yourself? Just move on, kid. We've got so much time. Even I hate to admit it, that's an unlikely scenario. Right, so then what? So assuming that you're not the reason why Haru's phone is in your apartment, then how did it get there? Well, someone else had to put it there. Good. Who and why? The killer to frame me. That would have been the only other person with access to Haru's phone before the police arrived, and the police wouldn't have planted the phone in my apartment. Hey, now we're getting somewhere. Even if you found the phone, the killer wanted to make certain that you didn't know what that was there for. Why did that fail? What? Well, you found out that it was Haru's phone because you turned it on. That was clearly not within the killer's plan. So he's saying that the killer didn't know about The wall charging feature. The killer might have taken out the battery, but he didn't know that I could power the phone just by plugging it into the wall charger. Which means? It means it's not Yako. Yako would know, because Yako knows all this shit. That means it's not Miki either. He knows something. He knows about some technology, but not all. He knew enough to take out the battery, but not enough for the latest features. Good going. You might actually solve this for real. See, you already know one thing about the killer that the police don't. Hooray, let's throw a party. Oh, suck it up, kid. There's another weird thing about Haru's case that you need to remember. Happens to know what it is? Location. The murders were always done in the forest. He was killed in an alley in District 6, not in the forest. Good, good, and? It's a place where too many potential witnesses are around. Even though the forest has police on patrol, it's not like they can secure a large portion of it, much less the entire forest. He probably knows the forest like the back of his hand. He could have easily snuck around them. A sad truth, but good. Although, would have been risky to take a screaming victim to an area swarming with personnel. Would the forest have been swarming with personnel 2 days ago? Hold on, what? Okay. A sad truth, but good. Although it would have been risky to take a screaming victim to an area swarming with personnel. The forest would have been swarming... Return. Saving it because I have a feeling this is important. That, and I'm also really confused. There was an accident elsewhere. The police can't be everywhere at once. Oh. That day was also the day of Shoji Hasegawa's death, right on the subway tracks. Then, I can't imagine that group at the forest would be anything more than a skeleton crew. Well, technically, those would be two entirely different divisions. One with violent crimes and the other probably with civil affairs or something. Actually, yes, but it might have been reported as a murder. Yako was arrested and interrogated for it. Did you see how easily he walked out of it? Must have been a witness interrogation, not a suspect. Well, it's either that or his parents were influential enough to... Okay, we're getting off topic here. Let's just settle it like this. It's likely that it was handled by the Violent Crimes Division because it was solved the death of another academy student in the wake of multiple student disappearances. Furthermore, there were 3 witnesses at the scene, you, Yako, and Rui, and all of you are academy students. Happy? Why didn't I think of that? You just did. So, what does it matter? The forest was still a fairly viable option, and at very least, it would have been a way to overly inquisitive citizens. Away from overly inquisitive. Then why was Haru still murdered in District 6? I guess it means that the killer wasn't entirely in charge of his circumstances. Things didn't happen according to his plan. So then the question we must ask is this. Why and how was Haru murdered? I can't answer all that. You're killing me over here, kid. Fine, I'll rephrase it. Remember how every victim previously logged in for curfew before they disappeared? Yeah. But Haru didn't. He was away from school even before curfew tolled. See something weird? Besides the obvious break-in pattern? Holy smokes, kid, the pattern is odd. Why would the killer kidnap students after curfew? Let's say I'm your everyday Joe. Well, your everyday psychopathic Joe. I need to kill a couple people here and there, and from reasons unknown, it has to be a bunch of kids at a super uptight private school. When would I choose to strike? After curfew? Tell me why that's an obvious disadvantage, ignoring the obvious security problems. It would. I don't know. I gotta read. Come on. When I would strike... I need to kill a couple of blah 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 blah. Super up to private school. When would I choose to strike? After curfew? Tell me why that's an obvious disadvantage, ignoring the obvious security problems. Limit the suspect pool. Because security locks down on the school after curfew, only a few people can be out and about. The suspects would be limited to students or maintained staff like the janitor or security team. Good, good. Hardly ideal circumstances for a killer. So, pretty safe to presume that he wouldn't act after curfew unless he absolutely needed to. Which means that Harubunya missing curfew was his own choice, because if the killer kidnapped him before curfew, then why didn't he do so to the other students? Unless this time was an exception. Hey, everything can be an exception. You'll never get working theory that way. Now, let's think about this. Haru skips curfew while the killer is confined. Night falls. Unlike the other victims, Haru is out of school, but still ends up being killed. He probably thought that he would be safer if he wasn't confined to curfew. Oh, no, you don't think that. You think he went to look for the killer. There's no proof for that. I wouldn't say that. It's easy enough to say, stay safe in the public. 24-hour fast food restaurants with CCTVs, public hospitals, even the police department for crying out loud. The killer might have known the school security systems like the back of his hand, but he can't control all of Asano. And Haru didn't seem like the stupid type. Just so. Coincidence? Probably not. Good boy. But if that's the case, why wouldn't he tell anyone suspicious? Tell anyone his suspicions? You tell me. Because he didn't have any. He was just going to tell the first guy who left the school. And on that note, why didn't he notify the police if he was going to take such a risky action? Why wouldn't he notify the police? Why wouldn't he indeed? This is what you want me to feel. Correction, this is what I want, what you want to feel. Because I have to understand what Haru is thinking. You don't understand Haru because you're distancing yourself too much. It's time to get real, kid. Check that phone of yours. Check my phone. And snap back to reality. I stumble out of my concentration in a disoriented mess. Still in the subway, which is completely empty. How long have I been thinking? I peer around the abandoned platform. Nothing but a soft flickering dim lights. Well, I guess it makes sense. This isn't exactly a major station. A dull vibration in the pocket of my pants redirects my attention. Oh, that's right. My phone must have been vibrating all this time. From Shiguri's probability to lure me someplace or another, or some teacher... Oh my god, I gotta sneeze! And I don't want to sneeze because I'll pop my rib again. Warned me in my absence. Maybe even a friend who's wondering where I've been. It probably was vibrating from the moment I entered the subway, vibrating instantly. Blah, blah, blah. Commotion. I tend to shut it off while I'm overwhelmed, distancing myself from reality, as Mr. Ryuta would call it. Childhood trauma, learned behavior, coping mechanism. One moment, the world... Oh, answer the phone, it's getting annoying. The world is there, and the next, it's just me alone with the figureheads inside my brain. A caricature of Mr. Ryuta to help me think better. Or a caricature of Rui to stabilize my emotions. Such extremes wouldn't have been for years. After all, what excitement happens in high school? Gossip, relationships, bullying. But now I'm distant. I feel it myself, somehow hollow, cold, something that apparently could even notice the vibrations in my own pocket. Well, guess I eventually noticed. I humor myself and scroll through the notifications, daily mundane life I expect. Please stop the vibrating. It's getting me nervous. Makes me have to pee. Thank you. Sarge, hate to disturb your 1,000-year slumber. Have you seen your... Oh no, Rui's missing. Dude, have you seen Rui? Is Rui with you? Rui MIA after school, respond ASAP. Rui's missing. I don't even realize it, but my fingers weaken and my phone slides through the spaces between my knuckles and turns end over end. Clatters to the ground and a shrill impact of fine glass against concrete, echoing down the hollow, utterly abandoned passage that which I sought. Rui's missing. It starts out as a disappearance 3 times. A disappearance from school, a mysterious vanishing after a logged curfew. No one can find them, no one can contact them. Phones are tracked and found in garbage disposals. CCTV footage turns up corrupted, or deleted or looped. It's Natsuki! Then the bodies are found. Then who's the one controlling her? Or is she the mastermind? Then the bodies are found, peeled, sliced, ripped apart, the mutilated remains of what was once a human being. What if those bodies, one of those victims someone gave a terrible rendering scream that only went unheard, was Rui? Waking up in the cold dark, greeted by a pale, croaking voice, seeing nothing but a sheen of a blade of moonlight, something that draws through flesh. I force a shaky breath out of my lungs, my chest constricts, the world pulses. Rui is the next victim. An afternoon disappearance, another break-in pattern. One more shaky breath, my vision spins. Rui is with the killer, with someone whose mask is perfect, who disappears without a trace, who eludes the police without effort, like everything it's just a game. Someone who isn't caught by an army of highly trained officers of law enforcement, someone whom I could never dream of catching. Rui is going to die, and there's nothing I can do about it. I'm just a 17-year-old kid hiding in the subway like a homeless beggar, a refugee from police custody. Rui's smile, her teasing, her nagging, gone just like that. Another figure who entered my life, only to leave me, violently ripped away before her time. Another person who deserves to live so much longer. Pull yourself together. Elizabeth. Moping around doesn't help anyone. If you want to be useful, then be useful. Lizzie. Figured I'd see you. You like to challenge me. Guess this time it wouldn't be any different. So, things are hopeless. What an amazing advice do you have for me? This comes almost mockingly. A crushing weight as it filled... Oh my god, this is getting good. Filled the space that was once empty in shock. I have nothing left but sarcasm and cynicism. In response, Lizzie's image flickers to Mr. Ryuta. There's still a key that you have to remember about Haru's case. A key? Recall it. How did you stumble on the killer in the first place? Haru sent me a location ping. It's only after a sentence spills out too much ease that I realize it's irregularity. Haru sent me a location ping. We're not even close. Not only that, but there was barely any time between the location ping and his death. So somehow, in his last moments, just before he died, he decided to send a location ping to me? I fervently rack my brain for answers. Would Haru really do that? Would he really put the fate of his own life on me? I scan through the flowcharts of known ways people socialize in my head, but it turns up blank. My brain is freezing. I can't see beyond the mental image of stumbling on Rui's body, cold and bloody, mouth open and the last remnants of a scream. No, Haru's location ping. Why would he send it? Why would he? Blood, terror. That was such a bad fade. That's a fade I use in Windows Movie Maker. Blood, terror, the crushing force of water. Stop! No! I have to think. I force all the habits from my excessive therapy sessions into practice. Deep breaths, tall spine, tense all muscles and relax slowly from the top to bottom. Her life is at stake. Rui could die any minute. Maybe she already has. Or maybe she's cramped up in whatever sick place a psycho has, waiting and dreading the moment when nothing will be on her mind but excruciating pain. Damn it! Mr. Ryuta bleeds into Elizabeth, flickers for a moment, then bleeds into Masaki. Yama? I can't do this anymore. Miki, please, just leave me alone. I know this is hard, but right now, you're the only one with the best chance of finding the killer. Because of this damn phone. You know what? Fine. I can't handle this on my own. I'm giving it to the police. Won't they just arrest you? Yeah, but they'll find out that I'm not the real killer. But they have to trust your word that someone else put that phone in your apartment rather than you taking it from Haru himself. It could take days, maybe weeks, to clear the situation, even if you're eventually found innocent. And by that time, Rui will be dead. Miki, please help me. Rui, don't you love Rui? She needs us. In that case, do you remember whether someone sent you an out-of-place location ping? I've received and sent too many damn location pings to keep track of. Maybe you can narrow it down. Or maybe you can start using your head. Before Haru Bunya, was there anyone else who accidentally sent you a location ping? Actually, now that she mentions it, I remember something. She sent me the location ping by mistake. The location ping from Miki. That was with the thingy. Yeah, it was you, actually. You sent me a location ping by accident. You mistapped it because my name was right under... Wait, mistapped because my name was right under Yako's. Yako Akari. When I think about it, everything fits too well. Yako Akari, he started the Happy Club as a connected with 3 recent deaths, Akane, Shoji, and Haru. And before that, he also knew Midori and Toma. And he would know a lot about the Academy's security and technology, maybe even more than the average faculty member, being a son of a higher-up at Lemonscape. And I've seen how, in the blink of an eye, he can shift from joy to depression, almost as if he's perfect control over how he wants these emotions to be seen. But he would know about that feature. And he knows me, knows the code to my apartment, knows my schedule, knows my actions and my reactions, and he was there. At the murder of Haru, Yaako Akari was there. He had coincidentally run into me, seemed flabbergasted that I was there, so kindly offered to cover for me. Yaako Akari, a former roommate, my friend. Well, isn't that just too damn typical? The serial killer can't just be some random chump off the street. No, he has to be someone close to me. But my fury intensifies as black anger, nausea, everything solidifies the blood in my body. Masaki's image fizzles into Masato. What kind of friend you, man? You know, it ain't Yaako. You've known him for 2 years. I spit bitterly. Yeah, give me some proof. I'd love to believe it. For starters, you got no proof that some big shot organization just hacked out your lock. Might be tough to break one's person, but ain't even a sneeze for a team of pros. So you're saying that the serial killer could actually be an organization, and they decided to frame me when I caught on to one of their members killing Haru in District 6? Well, yeah, something like that. Then something doesn't make sense. If the killer, or an organization, whatever, were close to me, it's weird that... Academy student... fucking A. Academy students were targeted. If an organization really was behind framing me, then why would they be killing students? What? I don't get it. What does that got to do with anything? Wait. Maybe they were hired to kill some kids. How the hell are we supposed to know anything about their goal? Why does my damn brain have to fail me now of all times? I have to rethink that something went wrong in my reasoning. I'm still alive. It's weird because I'm still alive. Why wouldn't they just kill me, witness the crime scene out by myself in District 6? They wanted to frame you, man. Framing someone who's alive does a whole more than framing someone who's dead, especially if he can be really defended himself. But that's the thing. How could they know I couldn't defend myself? Huh? The only people who could possibly know about my lapses are ones who are close to me, really close. Rui and Masaki for sure, and maybe you and Yaako, which means that the killer could only have been one of those 4 people. It can't be Rui, it can't be Masaki, and well, I'm pretty sure it can't be you either. But yeah, don't think it's Yaako. You want me to list the evidence alphabetically or chronologically? I can't believe it, but Yaako actually fits. Let me ask you one more thing, man. Do you really think Yaako's a serial killer? I just told you that. Do you really believe, like you believe the sun will rise every morning and I'll badger you into track every day, that Yaako's the man? No. I don't, honestly, I don't. Everything goes against him, but for some reason, I can't imagine that Yaako would be the serial killer. But isn't that shallow-minded? Isn't that foolish? Couldn't my reluctance lead to Rui's death? Right then. Masato's image fizzles into Akira, who jabs an energetic finger in my direction. Righto, cheerio. Time to think of this from another angle. We got ourselves some tricks up our metaphorical sleeves, Sarge. Don't you give up yet. Yeah, no offense, but you're not exactly the person I want for logical thinking. Oh, but what you need and what you want are 2 completely different things, like dying versus not dying. Well, what do you suggest? Well, you have a suspect now, right? Don't flip the turtle out before they've proved they're guilty or innocent. That's like counting your chickens before they have the avian flu strikes and wipes them all off the face of the planet. So, find proof of Yaako's innocence. Easier said than done. Much easier than then. Oh, I wouldn't say that, Sarge. You've gone some things strewn in that brain of yours. Such as? Akira suddenly morphs into Masaki. Don't you remember how the killer forgot about the phone's wall charging feature? Yaako loves technologies. Thank you! As much as I do, not to mention that his parents work at Lemonscape. If he were the killer, do you really think he would have forgotten something so simple? That's, well, right, but by itself it's pretty weak. Masaki fizzles out, allowing Elizabeth to take center stage. And think, what does Haru's mishap really imply? Remember, in his panicked last moments, he was attempting to send a location ping to Yaako, but his finger slipped to you instead. Oh, of course. Why didn't I see that before? Haru was trying to send a location ping to Yaako, too. Get help. Haruko wanted to let Yako know he was in danger. If Yako saw that he was in District 6, well, I think even Yako would have known something was wrong. Correct. Also, Haru must have eventually been able to get a signal through. Because you showed up. Because he showed up. Even if it was after me. Not only that, but he already had called the police. I'm trying to help you, dude. Yeah, there's police sirens. Why wouldn't I? Leave. Which means that your entire basis for suspecting Yako Akari is now null and void. A little part of me relaxes before I realize this doesn't actually solve anything. No, it does. You know who knows your code. It was said. It's that bitch Natsuki. Rui's gone, and now I'm nowhere close to discovering the killer before I was started thinking. Rui's still in danger. I'm still running away convict. A serial killer still running amok having his little grim parties. Is there nothing I can do? Nothing? Wait a moment. Think, why did Haru not notify the police before he began tailing the killer? Like me, he's a capable individual. We don't just miss things. Why indeed? Why wouldn't Haru have requested backup, or at least given an anonymous tip? Fuck. He doesn't trust the police. Shit, no. He didn't alert the police because he didn't trust them. Didn't trust them? Why? A personal traumatic encounter previously? Okay, I messed up. Or could it be Haru saw something to the police, something that would never could forget? Maybe I wasn't wrong. You know him more than I do. What is your opinion on the matter? He was my errand boy. You claim to be good at reading people. You're saying that you misread the suspect? I'm not wrong. Then you agree that Yama Ishimoto is the prime suspect. I agree. Could Haru have seen corruption? Why is it that a student was the first one to think of camping outside the school and tailing the serial killer? Why is it that the investigation force didn't even go through the school scouring the area for evidence of the killer? Why is it that no CCTV ever turned up with any results? What if all this sitting, I must have been right, sitting behind the curtain watching us dance, the police was just there laughing, watching us run in fear as they pretend that they're trying to protect us? That would mean Haru died for nothing. Yako called for nothing. And now Rui will disappear, will be shredded to pieces, will be left to rot for nothing. And there's nothing, not one damn thing I can do. Catch the killer, find the evidence, package him up and ship him to the police department? He'll just walk free because it was all part of the plan. Or worse yet, they don't even catch him. They'll have him surrounded and they'll miraculously break free and they'll give chase like a bunch of fools. And Rui will die for nothing. Rui, with her fiery passion, her love and endless enthusiasm of her dear ones, will pass into the fate of nihilism. Where there is no intrinsic value of purpose, no beneficial weight to her sacrifice for me, she'll be remembered maybe by a memorial for victims who were targeted by horrifying serial killers who, well, maybe one day we be brought to justice. That would be her only identity, a murder victim, a girl who had her whole life ahead of her. One more poor soul in the annals of justice. No one would know her smile or little quips, or the way she bites her lip when she was nervous about something. No, the name Rui Hayata would only bring nods of pity and despondent sighs, and if she was really lucky, fuel for a movement for treatment of mental illness or weapon control, or something other political objective. And then, as days pass on, as time becomes months and years and decades, she'll be forgotten forever. Drowned out in the names of the victims who will be remembered with nothing but nods of pity and despondent sighs. Nothing but a non-existence. Ari suddenly appears and stares at me with such intensity that I swear she's almost real. Do not lose focus. Her image blurs at the edges surrounding her hair, turning orange and... Gosh, you're such a wreck. What happened? I open my mouth. A feeble, unintelligible noise bleeds out. You try to do too much, Yama. That's the problem. You want to do everything, but everything comes so overwhelming that you just end up doing nothing. You can only do what you can. The rest is out of your hands. I can only do what I can. Yeah, and right now, all you can do is figure out who the killer is. You're up for that much, right? Yeah, no pressure. So you're stuck because you think the killer has to be you, me, Yako, or Masto, right? I guess. My voice comes out very small. I squash the temptation to reach out, touch her jacket, her hair, anything. Because right now, she's not real. Right now, she might even be... Are you paying attention? No. Wow, I think finally know what it's like to be one of your teachers. I cough out a cross between a chuckle and a snort. It's so close to reality, but it's not. Then, oh all-knowing teacher, what do you have to say? Well, your passcode is literally so stupid that anyone who saw it once couldn't get in. But that's not the problem. The problem is this killer knows about my lapses. No, wait. There's something strikingly familiar about what she said. Didn't she mention this before? Didn't she say something like this before? There's something vitally important about this statement. Your passcode is literally so stupid that anyone who saw it could just get in. What sticks out so much? Fuck. Just once. Just once. She'd be talking about someone who had seen my code just once. Someone who commented on how stupid it was. Oh, please, your code is the stupidest possible code on the existence. What? A man who helped me move into my apartment, who commented on how stupid the code was, who clearly... A man who knew all the victims because they were fighting psychological problems and he was a school counselor. A man who would only know the security school inside and out, yet would not be up to date with the latest features of a smartphone, like a wall charger. A man who was strong enough to inflict the same wounds as a serial killer, smart enough to outmaneuver the police, control enough of fake sanity in the day. A man who, after curfew, was free from his duties. And a man who would approach me after seeing me at Haru's murder site, surprised that I didn't seem to remember what happened. A man who would certainly be curious at the unusual reaction. A man who could access confidential school records and learn about my lapses from there. A man who I trusted. I had a feeling it was going to be him with Summer, but there's two people to the killings. Not Suki, of course. Trusted too much. Why? It's not you. There's something I must have missed. A proof, a theory, anything. Why? Why did it have to be you? You damn old geezer, why did you even... Why? Nothing but silence. The silence of finality. Of a door that's been opened and can never be closed. I think I fucked up. All tension leaves my body. I can vaguely feel myself slumping on the subway bench, neck uncontrollably stretched to accommodate the weight of my head. Mr. Ryuta, my mentor, my friend, and the serial killer. You're really different today, Yama. What's bothering you? Back then, I should have seen it. Because why wouldn't anyone else notice? Why Mr. Ryuta, the only one who thought something that had happened that night? I had my suspicions. I known there was something odd about him. But I didn't want there to be. I wanted to wave it away. I wanted to trust Mr. Ryuta. I wanted just one person who would understand everything and stay on my side. Well, there's no explicit rule saying I can't use confidential database. Pretty sure that there is. Nope, I may be faculty, but I'm not the teacher. Fuck. Can we save Rui in time now? Right, you must know the entry student for care requires psychological analysis. I remember all this. Why didn't I see it then? I mean, I always had my suspicions. Mr. Ryuta was one of my... up there with Natsuki and Yako, but... He knew about my lapses, not because I told him, but because he had access to the psychological overviews of each student. He would have known each of the victims. Maybe they were assigned to his counseling care, just like I was. But Natsuki can hack into everything, and she knew your code. I hate computers. But we'd all be dead without them. You know what? It's great. My desktop iPad. Man, that was a great, stable, awesome, and a killer whirl of the fan. You guys know how satisfying it is to hear a computer work to keep itself cool? What kind of weird, no casual user has desktops anymore? Oh, wait. Not Nokia. Right. Oh, there we go. Finally working. And he knew about the computers. Not an avid follower of electronics. Not enough to know about weed. But enough to know about phone batteries. Natsuki would have known that. That's true. She would have known about that. Instead of detention, the teacher's convinced that I need more permanent solution, like death. Can't help you with that. So how's the apartment? Oh my god, I can't believe it. Phil's the cactus. Oh my god. Like a die-cut piece of complete complex puzzle, all the facts and memories line up in a perfect succession. The killer is Mr. Ryuta. Now I know it certainly. Intrinsically, just like how I can sit on my chair and I'll support my weight, or I can walk under a bridge and it won't fall on top of me. Just don't know what to do next. Shouldn't there be a sense of triumph, a miniature party in the back of my head, giving me a cookie for successfully finding out the killer? Something keeping me going, something propelling me to the next step. I know the identity of the killer, shouldn't I report this? But to whom? I'm on the run from the police, who may or may not be corrupt. I can hardly show my face at school, and if I called Mr. Ryuta, well, that simply wouldn't do anything. For the most part, it feels like I should just give up. There's nothing further ahead. No way out of this conundrum. I've worked myself into a... The situation requires me to be clever, more clever than I can be. I want to think myself out, find some magical solution of something, but sometimes it's just not there. Reaching into the empty bag and expecting handfuls of gold. And is it this it? Ah, someone's calling me. Maybe I'll pick up, and at the other end I'll hear a cold, dead voice of Rui's parents saying quietly that Rui has been found, but as bleeding, mutilated lump. Oh, stop being morbid. Maybe I'll drop my phone, and this time it'll shatter completely, crushed to pieces like fragments of sanity stringing me together. Or maybe it's tracking call from Lemonskate. I bid the police that I'll be stupid enough to pick it up. An unknown number, that's a high risk. If I answer it and it is the police, I'll be caught in the blink of an eye. Rui will die, Mr. Ryuta will run free. But if I don't, what then? I'll be left alone to fend for myself. Somehow I'll have to exact Rui safely, and catch Ryuta, and somehow stay alive. Is that even possible, or do I need no matter how much I despise it? Oh, fuck this. I'm done for today. This is where I draw my line. I'll think on this later. Well, one of my theories was correct. I theorized Mr. Ryuta was the killer, and if that is the case... Wow. Can we save Rui in time, though? That's the big question, and I have a feeling the series is coming to its sad end. And I hope it's not too sad. But follow me on Twitter to know when all my videos go live, as well as to know I'll be doing Twitch stuff, as well as to some secret projects I'm working on. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and share it around. It helps me grow and all that. And other than that... yeah. I'll see y'all next time. Thanks for watching another episode of Lucid 9. I'll see y'all next time.